Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. Full moon in Capricorn. About to get into it. Try to do this quickly because I overdo it. I go very long sometimes. So trying to pack my bags properly when it comes to conversation. But peace and love, peace and love. Full moon in Capricorn, y'all. Full moon in Capricorn. And this means a lot, especially wherever you're trying to do well at. Wherever you're trying to do well at, wherever you're trying to climb the ladder of success, wherever you feel like you need support at, wherever you feel like you need somebody to have your back or really help you with your crops in life, as far as your seeds of your ideas, of your children, whatever it is that you feel like you need more support or help with, this is a really good time. The next 3 days is very significant, but this very much lasts for the next 6 months. This lasts actually all the way up into January of next year, until the new moon in Capricorn. So that's why I always say your new moon sets you up for your full moon. Your full moon gives you energy all the way up until the new moon. And the new moon in Capricorn won't be until January of next year in Capricorn season. Peace and love. Mia! Oh my God, Mia. Peace and love. Oh my goodness. My baby. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love, Janae. Peace and love, Gail. Mia. David Simmons. Mia, I actually remember your birthday. If I'm not mistaken, February 8th. I never forget people's birthdays, so I know you're Aquarius. I think about that sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even into astrology then. But I think about everybody I was cool with back in the day and everybody's sign. And I'm like, oh, that's why this and that was like this, and why you get along with people or whatever happens. So that's so dope. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. I hope y'all had a good weekend. Yes, she is so beautiful, y'all. She has the most beautiful family, and I just love you so much, and I'm so proud of you. Yeah, gosh, it's so amazing. Retrograde. See, look, Mia, contact info. Most definitely. Like, I would love to get back in contact and reconnect. All is well. Peace and love, everybody. But anybody who works for themselves, or anybody who puts themselves in a leadership position, anybody that's the boss or the supervisor or anything like that. Peace and love, Mia. Y'all, she is so beautiful and awesome. But I love just beautiful people. But anywhere where you're like being independent in your life, this is for you. This is what you need to hear. Anywhere where you're trying to do well, specifically if you're a sun sign Capricorn, if you're a moon sign Capricorn, if your ascendant is in Capricorn, or if you have major aspects or stellium or anything like that in Capricorn, this is for you. This is for you to learn more about yourself, and this lets you know for the rest of the month, for the rest of Cancer season, what to really be on the lookout for, and you kind of get to be more prepared for the rest of the month, because the first few degrees of the season, you kind of figuring things out. And so I know everybody may have been dealing with their emotions, with that sun sign in Cancer, emotions and family and relating to people, or figuring out who you can relate to and trying to find your grounding in life, trying to find those legs under that table in life that keep you stable, you know, so that stability that we all need. And as I've always said, and I say all the time, your family is not going to always be the people that you're related to. Sometimes it's just people that you relate to. So this is why I always say there's always good to know your roots, be good with your family, however. But it's amazing to always have a family outside of your family, because these are the people who are going to be a part of your success. These are the people who you're going to be climbing up the ladder with. These are the people who are not judging you about what they don't know about you already, you know, or holding anything against you. And these are the people who really want to see you do well, because they see the real potential in you, and there's no prejudgment on anything. And so, yeah, your family wants you to do well. Yeah, your family, you know, wants to see you thrive. But sometimes in some of our families, only as high as them, you know, and no further than them. Or you just having your basic needs. And that's okay. And some people don't want to see you actually fulfill your desires and your purpose and what your, you know, spiritual assignment is. Because if they haven't done theirs, it's hard for people to see you do well. So a lot of us, are very independent, and a lot of us are, self-starters. A lot of us work for ourselves. A lot of people are starting to be, entrepreneurs and all of that, and that's just so fantastic, and I love it. And I think that this is a really good time for all of us to step out and branch out a little bit more and fellowship a little bit more, which that goes back into that Saturn retrograde, going back to get something that's going to be a part of your success, going back to meet people that's going to be a part of your success, and this is your universal success. So these are things that you're going to have lasting effects for years and years to come, the things that we do the next few years. So you really want to make sure that the connections that you have, the people that you relate to, the people that you're producing things with are really going to be there in the long run, or there's long ties to these people, and the contracts are quite okay, that keep you safe. And I'll go back to that with contracts, because contracts can sometimes keep you safe and make sure that the ground is always level with you and other people. Sometimes contracts can be binding and can be of bondage and not just binding like you feel like you're in bondage, or it can be a heavy weight on you, and sometimes it takes away from some people's ability to do for self, or it makes some people actually dependent. So we'll go back into that as far as your contracts. But right now, the Capricorn, let's go into the GOAT. All right, Capricorn is the GOAT. Capricorn is the GOAT of the zodiac, but Capricorn sometimes people say is the father of the zodiac, or the boss or the supervisor of the zodiac, or some people would say is the I would say the strict teacher, or the disciplinarian, or your trainer, or whoever that would stand in your face and make sure you're getting work done. And so pretty much Capricorn is a time right now for you to really wrangle in that energy, and it's talking about how you feel, and you feeling useful, and you feeling productive, and us getting work done. And so yesterday, today, and some of tomorrow is giving you yourself to get aligned with people of wealth, people with a strong cipher, people that should be a part of your cipher. Your cipher is like a circle. Okay, so it shouldn't be something that's easily broken. Just like your integrity is like a circle. Something that shouldn't be easily broken. Something that, you're known for. Something that you're known to do. Something that you don't just stop doing. Something that we just know for a fact what you're going to do as far as keeping your word, or however, fulfilling something that you said you were going to fulfill. All of that is very important when it comes to your contracts, your contacts, and your connections with people, which also goes back to your success. And so, yeah, all this month, the sun is shining on Cancer, which is the people that we relate to, our family members and people like that. But it's also telling you to make sure you have proper boundaries, and making sure that we're locking those doors mentally, physically, and spiritually, so that not any and everybody gets in. So you got to think about your body, or your life, or your house. All of it is the same as far as how you protect your home. So just how you lock your doors and you close your windows at certain times throughout the day, or when you know you're going to be at home, or when it's about to rain, or however. Why? It's for protection. You don't want ants, roaches, rodents, or however getting in your home, so you do certain things, and you make preventative measures in your life to make sure, or in your home, to make sure that nothing's getting in and nothing's disturbing your peace. These are the same things we have to do with our life spiritually and with our bodies. And a lot of us don't do that. And so this is talking about having proper boundaries to your life, making sure that we are having preventative measures when it comes to protecting our spirit, our mind, our body, our family, all of those things, and how we can flow. And so you want to be around people that you can release around. So Cancer is talking about your sacral chakra, but Capricorn is talking about your throat chakra, and it's also talking about your root chakra, because it's talking about things that you need, basic needs, things that you have to get through life. But then as you move up through your body and with your purpose, it also becomes a part of your purpose. So people that you align yourself with as a part of your purpose. And so as your vehicle, I would even say Capricorn is talking about your alignment, the alignment on your vehicle, whether you can stay in, the lanes, okay, because Capricorn is all about staying in your lanes. And when you're talking about the GOAT, it has a target, it has somewhere it's going, and especially when it's going up the mountain for success or however, because you have to think about, as you're going up the mountain of success, you want to make sure that there's somebody that's holding you, and somebody that's holding those ropes and making sure you get up there properly. So this is where Cancer comes in at. Family members, your own proper emotions, where you're stable at, having a strong foundation. And this is also goes back to eating at home, having proper roots, because Cancer is the roots and the stars of it all. So Cancer is the core of it all, even when you're talking about your body and even spiritually. Because if we're talking about the roots being at the ground or under our feet, and we're talking about the stars being above our head, then we're right in the middle. So that's the Cancer of it all, having a strong core of what's going on in between where our feet are and what's above our heads, and also the center of your body. And so all of that is saying, where am I strong at, and is my foundation strong, and do I eat strongly, and do I eat well mentally, physically, and spiritually in my roots and through my culture and my family and where I come from, and do I know a lot of that? Because if you eat well here, it's not as easy for you to be taken advantage of when it comes to success, and when it comes to shaking hands with people of wealth, when it comes to letting people in your cycle or being a part of somebody else's, and when it comes back to, that cycle or that circle of life and you trying to do well. You don't want to just let anybody in, and you don't want to you want to make sure you're filtering the right people to go out. And so Capricorn, like I say, you want to make sure, like when we go back to being aligned. Okay, so Cancer in its highest self, and when I'm saying Cancer, you want to strengthen that Cancer part of yourself to go through the Capricorn part of yourself, which is going to create that line of 180 degrees, because Cancer is going to be your foundation, your roots, and what's at the bottom. All right, the water, the pond of it all. Capricorn is the gold at the mountain of it all. And so they have to align. So that Capricorn has to, and that gold has to come down at some point to get water, to deal with their emotions, to deal with things at the root, to deal with themselves, to deal with their family. No matter how unrelatable a Capricorn comes off, they still have to at some point relate to other people. They still have to some point, like I say, release and deal with their sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is also where you produce and reproduce. So if you want to be strong at your throat chakra, okay, dealing with Capricorn, the things that you say, where you get respected, where people are going to focus on what you're saying, the quality of your words, structure of your words, all of those things. Like I say, you have to eat properly, and you have to be completely grounded in Cancer first. Cancer, like I say, is your family. Cancer is your stomach and your chest. Like I say, your parasympathetic system, how you feel. These are your intuitive feelings, those signals that you feel, that you can't explain, that something, your body is telling you something. You want to be rooted and grounded in this area. Emotions can ruin everything. And so that's why I say you want to be rooted in your emotions, and you want to be emotionally intelligent when it comes to your success. Because a lot of people have ruined their own success with the things that they say, the things that they do, getting too mad, getting too sad, or being too soft and letting the wrong people in. So that's why I say you want to be very selective. All right, and Capricorns are very, very selective, which is why people could say they're mean. But wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, you don't have to be an actual Capricorn. They're just very serious. So they're selective about who they talk to, who they deal with, and all that, just like the actual goat. The actual goat, they're very selective about the other goats that they deal with. And by all means, if they have to climb the mountain themselves to get the resources, to get the food, to get what they need, to get to the top, or however, as it's getting cold, they'll do those things. And so that's why I say, being selective and using the energy for the next 6 months, but you want to pay attention to or align yourself properly with the right people in the next 3 days. The next 3 days are very, very important. The actual time, before the moon starts to wane. So that full moon in Capricorn, you want to catch it while it's full, because it starts to wane in a couple of days. And as it starts to wane, the difference and the meaning of the moon is something different. So that's why I say timing is everything, especially when you're trying to get something and catch something or manifest something and do things at the right time. So right now you're collecting. This is a full moon of energy of your success. This is showing you what your success would look like, what it could feel like, who the people around you would be around, what's going to be around when it's in the next 6 months or however. So that's why I'm saying be selective. And that's why it's not always somebody telling you what's going to happen to you. You can say for yourself, which is why I always give my clients a time frame. You can say for yourself, in the next 3 days, I was supposed to do this, but if this is very significant about my success or where I'm going or where I'm headed, maybe I'll set this up. This is why you are the master of yourself. You master yourself. You are the time. They say there's no such thing as time. time except for when you focus on something. Other than that, you are free. And so you're free to do whatever, and there's no age on anything. And so we have to understand how much power that we have so we can get everything that we want. And a lot of us spend a lot of time burdened, and a lot of times having the wrong people in our space. That's why I say people that should be bringing you the flowers and the ideas and the creativity and the supporting that you need. Some of those people are bringing you weeds and putting all kinds of weeds in your crops and taking away from what you're trying to build. And so you have to think about this. And sometimes they're going to be the people that are in your face every day, people who look at you every day. It's going to be those people sometimes, and it's going to hurt to let them go. But this is why we have retrogrades, you guys. And this is why we have time and space in our life where some people have to go, and you rearrange people, places, and things and spaces in your life. And there's a time where they can come back. When planets go back direct and you have everything you need and you have the strength you need in whatever area that you were retrograded in, this is why you're more prepared the next time for that person, that place, that opportunity, that job, that relationship, whatever. You're always more prepared when the planet goes back direct. When it's retrograde and you're not in trouble, it's not a scary situation. Ain't nobody about to get you. So we got to stay on but off of social media, because some people just be posting stuff. And so a lot of us don't even know what we're talking about when we're thinking the retrograde is about to take away from our life. When the retrograde is giving you time, it's like a time to reflect. And it's like I say, it's a time to change your answers on a test. This is midterms. This is saying, hey, study a little bit better in this area of your life so that things can really go and move forward the way you want it to next time. And that's why I say you're rewinding your life. And so there are do-overs in life because you get time to rewind. You get second chances through retrogrades when we have like 5 planets retrograding right now. And then Chiron is about to retrograde and Ceres is about to retrograde. Like, it's a lot of things to go back and get. That's what I call a retrograde. Because everything, you always want to look at the alchemy of it all. You always want to see the beauty of it all. You want to see what you can change around. You never want to be like, oh, this is this. No, you go, oh, but this is this. Or this happened, okay, but this is also what can happen. What can you gain? So I always say my losses are my gains. Your wisdom you can put in your pocket. Your wisdom is credit later. So I always say when you mess up, you really won something really, really quick. You don't realize how much you're putting into your spiritual account. And a lot of us, this is a really good time to look at your, I would say, your spiritual credit score right now and to really see where you're at. And so this is why you feel like things are not going the way you want it to go and things are not going in your favor. But I always say, look at your credit score. And so when you're trying to, swipe that spiritual credit card and things are not going and that thing is declining, we have to think about what's in our account. And you have to think about how much you've built on your credit. What do you do for other people? Are you reliable? Are you dependable? Do you keep your word? All of those things add into your account. And so that's why I say it's not always money. Sometimes it's time that we need. Sometimes it's energy that we need just to finish that race, to finish that test. That energy we need to leave a job, to leave somebody. Sometimes it's just that. It's not always the time. And so it's not always the money. And so that's why this is giving you time to really think about what it is that really works for you and really put quality in your thoughts and put quality, you guys, in your breath, because this is a really important time for us. You ain't gonna see this time frame again for another 29 years? Understand that. You get what I mean? In the next 29 years, a lot can change, and some of us may not be here. So pretty much what I say, this has lasting effects, what we do right now. And so what we're doing for ourselves, what we do for our children, what we put out into the universe, what we do for the people, all of that has lasting effects, you guys. And so that's why that Saturn retrograde is so very important. But the moon is in Capricorn right now. And so it's saying you're sensitive to things. You're sensitive to things that could be a part of your success. You're sensitive to things that can help you feel comfortable later. You're sensitive to things that can make you feel like a boss. All right, and moon in Capricorn is a detrimental spot, okay, because the moon in Taurus, that is the exaltation. So when the moon is in Capricorn, it's not the most comfortable place. It's not the worst place, because it's in the fall when it's in Scorpio. So this is not the worst place it could be, but it could be a detrimental spot because you're not feeling, some people not feeling wanted, some people not feeling useful, some people not feeling needed. And so Capricorn is all about feeling needed, being useful, but they create a way. Okay, because Virgo is what trines that, and Virgo is the faithful servant who has to be needed and wanted and is always dealing with customer service. But Capricorn is the boss. So that's why they have to be needed. Okay, and that's why they deal with the root chakra. Something that somebody has to be here. This next few days too, let's go into that, dealing with the root chakra and the throat chakra. Capricorn deals with our parents, people that we respect, mentors, our mothers, fathers, disciplinarians, people who brought us up in life, however, your auntie, your uncle, however. This could be the next couple of days a good time to align yourselves and have those conversations that needed to be had, which also goes back to that Mercury retrograde. It's a really good time to get that understanding and that clarity that you needed to have with somebody and be like, what was that you needed to say? This is at a degree of redemption right now when we're talking about Cancer. This is a degree of redemption, redeeming yourself or redeeming somebody else. And that goes back to the sun being in Cancer. Somebody in some type of way may have been violated, hurt, disappointed, or however, by a family member or by a friend or by a lover in the past couple of weeks, because it's been the past couple of weeks of Cancer season. And so you have the rest of the time up until the end of Cancer season to fix things. Mercury is about to start retrograding July 12th. Okay, and so before it goes back direct, collect that understanding. Pen, pencil, write it down, jot it down. If it's a poem, if it's lyrics to a rap, if you've been freestyling in your head, get that song out your head. Do whatever it is you need to do. And so that's why I say clean your room. And that's why the universe is saying clean your room in this area, wherever you have Mercury, wherever you have Saturn, all of that. Clean your area out, so you can move in what needs to be moved there. Move the furniture out physically, whatever clothes, whatever things that are there, but mentally, you want to move and rearrange things. And I always say you don't want to get rid of the things that have happened to you that you feel like are horrible things or these bad experiences. You want to hold on to those things because I say put it in another area, put it in another room, because you can use it for something else later. So that's why I say in the basement of our life, a lot of people want to make it scary, but if you organize it, and you know where everything is, and you are not triggered by where your pain is, when somebody says that person's name, and you're not triggered anymore, you don't get mad anymore, this is when you know you've healed from situations. When you ride past that house or that job that did you wrong or whatever, and you're not mad anymore, and you don't start going into a long story about remember that time, this is when you know you've healed. You get what I'm saying? When somebody can bring up a certain situation and be like, remember that time, and you don't get mad and you don't get in your feelings and you don't take it personal. This is when we know we've healed from certain situations, and a lot of people don't know that where we need to heal at. And so also this is with this Capricorn, is talking about those internal reparations that we all need to have. And the more and more you heal internally, the more that you can get everything you want externally, whatever it is you're looking for, because everybody's looking for something different and everybody measures success differently. I always say with success, because a lot of us are more successful than we think. And I always say with success, do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you love what you do? And do you love how you do what you do? That is what makes you successful. You have to love who you are first. That's why I say success is deeper. It's deeper than what people think. And you have to actually love what you do. What will you wake up and do every day? If money wasn't an issue, would you do it for free? Would you do it for food? Would you do it for anything? What would you get up and do every day? So this is also what you're learning, what your purpose is. And this is also how you're starting to learn how the divine is talking through you and using you. Okay, whether it's art, whether it's dancing, whether it's through your speaking voice or however, which goes back to your sun sign. I'm a sun sign Gemini. I talk. But that's also a part of my gift. I also receive a lot of messages. I check the mail. I am the mailman. I give you the news. So whatever I get in meditation or whatever, and things that I learn or information that I gain from people, regular conversation, I map it up and analyze it in my little way, and I throw it to you, because everybody in some type of way knows what I'm talking about or relates to what I'm talking about in some kind of way. And so all we're trying to do is speak the same language and talk that talk. Tremaine, peace and love. Peace and love, everybody. And so whatever it is that you want to do, you guys, this is a good time. And that goes back to the retrograde. As you're cleaning out your room physically, you run across what? Old notepads, old papers, old art, you know, your old dance shoes. You run across old things that give you ideas and be like, oh shoot, you see pictures of yourself when you was in the band or whatever it is that you were doing. This is what the retrograde is for. That's why I say the retrograde isn't scary unless you got scary stuff in there, unless you're a nasty person, unless you're not thorough about clearing out areas of your life. That's the only thing that makes it scary, when you see shapes and shadows of stuff of your past and you don't know what that is and you're scared to go in that area. That's the only thing that makes it scary. Other than that, it just might be some dust on that stuff. You know, things you don't remember, all of that. Peace and love. Oh, peace and love, cuz. Peace and love. That's what the retrograde is for. And so that's why I say this full moon is aligning you. Not only are you going back to collect the information, but now the full moon is saying, hey, now you're in receive mode to be, like I say, productive with what you go back and get. And you're in receive mode of the apology or whatever it is that you needed from that authority figure that you needed to get that from. So that's why I say somebody's parent, your old boss, whoever that it is that you put on the pedestal or you respected, or somebody that disappointed you, this is that time. So, you know, you don't have to be so shocked, or it won't be out of the blue when somebody calls you and needs to talk to you or converse with you or meet with you. That goes back to the Mercury retrograde. It's also aligning with the moon being in Capricorn. Peace and love, Wiz. Peace and love, Centoya. Peace and love. Hey, y'all. I just be talking. Aubrey, peace and love. Tiffany, peace and love. Misha. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. Peace and love, Nicole. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love, Reggie. Peace and love, y'all. And so, use this time effectively. Use it to the best of your advantage. And so Capricorn tells you to look down. Capricorn is telling you to look down. All earth signs always look down, but Capricorn is telling you to look down because it's saying look down at your resources, look at what you have. All right. It's also saying look down at the level of dedication that you have, and is it being reciprocated back to you from whoever that you're looking for it from, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in business or whatever. You want to make sure that the respect, the dedication, and the focus is being reciprocated. And people who reciprocate it is the people that are part of your cipher. So a lot of us want to know who's a part of my cipher, who has my back. You know what I'm saying? Because people who are part of your cipher are people who are part of your purpose. Because those are the people who align with your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, and your crown chakra. These are the people, whether you like them or not, they're going to be a part of you, what you're going to do. These are the people y'all might not always see eye to eye. Y'all not always going to feel the same about the same things. But for some reason, the universe keeps pushing them back into your space, or y'all keep crossing paths for some reason. And regardless if you guys don't actually get along, you make a lot of fruit together. So these are the people. And sometimes these are our spouses, you know, our parents. Sometimes these are just people we know from work, or a friend of a friend who is really good at what they do, but you can't stand them. That's also somebody that's a part of your purpose, though, because when y'all get together about business, that feeling goes through your body. That spiritual orgasm, that enlightenment happens. Even though on a personal level, I might not like that person. This is how you know who's a part of your assignment. You know, this is how you know, okay, you here in the long run, regardless of how I feel about you, because our emotions are not always real. I realize that there's something about you that I need to learn from you, or you can learn something from me, or there's some type of level of respect or mutual respect. Our polar opposites is actually what's attracting us. We have to realize that in our connections with people, you know, and that's the science of it all, which is quite fantastic. And so right now, feed that goat. Feed that goat all the resources you have. And the whole message of a Capricorn is, it says they use restrictions and they use limitations to do well. You can give them a little bit of nothing and they make it into something. Okay, and this is why they're sextile. They're not too far away from Scorpio, because Scorpio does the same thing. They take very small things. They take the last little bit of something and they turn it into, they just multiply this thing. And Capricorn can do the same thing. And you have to think about Capricorn and Scorpio. Those are like fall and winter signs. So you have to think about the things we do in those months. So now even Capricorn is even telling you to prepare for when the ground gets cold, because that's why Capricorn is telling you to look down. Okay, and it's telling you to look down at different times. So in Taurus season, it was telling you to look down and enjoy the flowers. Enjoy the flowers of what? It was springtime. So we're enjoying the flowers when we're looking down when we're talking about Taurus. Okay, when we're looking down in Virgo, we're starting to gather things. Okay, you start to gather things in Virgo. So Virgo is in what? August, September. You start to gather things. So this is why I say this is the dutiful servant. This is the person that's responsible, the person who's thinking in the long run, okay? So all of that is when you're talking about Virgo. Capricorn, even though this is summertime, the full moon in Capricorn, that's what I'm saying, is telling you to look 6-7 months ahead to January. That's why I'm telling you guys that. So you think then right now, you're not going to think about it in January, something that happened back in July. But my clients, this is why I talk to them through their year. What you're doing right now, everything you do this month affects what you do in the next 6 months. Everything you do in the next 3 days affects what you do in the next 2 weeks. And this is why everything is from moon to moon, from sun to sun. Mercury, when Mercury gets back to where Mercury was, when Venus gets back to where Venus was, all of those things, everybody has to get back to home safely. So this is why you have a birth chart, and this is why you have your solar return, and this is why your planets go back to their home spot in your birth chart. And this is why you have your Saturn return. This is why you have your solar return is your birthday. This is why it's so fantastic that you have your birthday, because you went through every sign and the sun shined light through every sign, 30 days of every sign. And so you get back all the way back to your home sign. You made it back home safely when you have your birthday. And that's why your birthday is so amazing. And I know a lot of people don't like to celebrate their birthday, but your birthday is your special holiday. That's your own personal holiday. That's your day, your first breath, your first time you took your first breath in your space in the world at the time, the location and all of that. That is yours. Nobody else's. Not even twins share the same one. Okay, that's why they're born 2, 3, 4, 5, however many minutes after each other. They're still born in the same space. They're born on the same day. They're not born at the same time. Everybody's is different, you guys. And so this is what makes you so unique, and this is what makes your path so different. And Capricorn just helps you really climb that ladder. Capricorn is the corporate office of your life. Capricorn, you got to learn how to walk, talk, and do everything right when you get to Capricorn. So that's why I say the moon, which is my moon, is giving you so much energy, and she's giving you so much light on what things could be doing and your potential and where you could be. All right? Capricorn, like I say, is also the father of the zodiac. So this is where you're starting at with yourself, where you are disciplined with yourself, and it helps you be more disciplined with other people. Wherever you say no to yourself, it's easier to say no to other people. And so give yourself boundaries. When you honor your own boundaries, other people honor your boundaries. When you tell yourself no, that's what I'm saying, and say I don't do that, it's easier to tell people don't do that because I don't like that. When you know that you take your shoes off when you walk in your door, it's easy to tell other people to take their shoes off when they walk in your door because you already do it. And so that goes back to even being a hypocrite. When you don't honor yourself, it's hard for other people to honor you, and it's hard for other people to honor what you're saying when other people don't see that you're honoring your own word and you're not honoring your own rules and regulations that you're giving them. When you honor it yourself, other people are quicker to be like, word, because they see that you set limitations for self. All is well. And so think about that. And as you're honoring self, the people who honor and respect your limits are the people who are a part of your cipher. The people who are bringing fruit and helping you produce things are the people that are a part of your cipher. And a lot of us don't know that, and that goes back to, that's why I say somebody's relatable, or somebody we've been knowing for a long time, or somebody who looks like us. That's not always the case. That's not always the deal. So that's why you have to trust your stomach. You have to trust Cancer of it all. You have to trust your intuition. You have to use your psychic abilities when you're dealing with people internally. Because externally, somebody might have money. They might know the right people. They might have the right connections, but they might not be right. So this is why in lower self, Capricorn, we call the devil. Okay, because they deal with materialism and they deal with money and all of that, and they deal with everything that you can touch, which, like I say, which we call the devil, because the devil we always say are tangible things. God is everything that you cannot touch: love, power, wisdom, courage, memories. You cannot touch those things. Those are things you can't put your hand on. The bliss of it all, the spirit of it all. You will never be able to touch the spirit of it all. Those are the only things that we can feel. So that is God of it all. But money and cars, even the body and the flesh, that is the devil of it all. Because those are things that we can abuse, and those are things that we can use, and those are things that we can take advantage of, and those are things that we can have too much of. And sometimes we feel like we don't have enough of. But things that we can touch, so unless it's, the earth and things that we're eating and taking into our bodies properly, that's what I say what God and the devil is when we're talking about what's for us and what's not for us. Of course you need clothes. Of course we have to have money to get through. Too much of something, which goes back to the commandments and all of that, materialism and all that. You shouldn't honor anything, that has a face outside of yourself. So that's money, gold, all of those things. You are the gold of it all. You are the money of it all. And that takes away from your bliss when we spend our time focusing on things that you can put in your hand. Put your own hand in your hand. Okay? Focus on that. Focus on that, and that is the bliss of it all. And that also goes back to your vibration. When you feel rich in your vibration, nobody can touch that. That's something that cannot be touched. That's something that you can't put your hands on. So when you're rich in that area internally, that's why when you can eat at home internally, it's not easy for anybody to take advantage of you externally. It's not easy for somebody to put something on the table and take advantage of you and you just eat whatever they give you. It's easy for you to be more selective when you have roots, when you have culture, when you have grounding, when you have support, when you have family, when you have people there for you. When you be like, okay, well, never mind. You can make different choices when you have somebody that loves you at home. Even if it's just a friend, your children or whatever. When you know it's somebody that really cares about you and you don't have to take what's being offered. This is when you know in life, you don't have to go shopping in life hungry, and a lot of us do, whether it's for love, opportunities, for a job, all of those things, we go desperate. And when you go into situations desperate, you end up in the very worst situations, you guys. And so that's why I say be grounded. Know who loves you. Know who supports you. Know who's going to come to your graduation. Know who's going to show up to your children's graduation, who loves your children. And we have to think about that, because there are some people who are invested in us that are not invested in our children. And so when it comes to our mates and our friends and even our people where we work at, you want people who respect your children as well, because a lot of people are burnt out, tired, disrespected, and unappreciated because of the lack of boundaries that they have for their own children, because they can't tell a job no, because they can't tell a man no or a woman no, so you have to think about that. People who love you love your children. People who honor you also honor your children, and they always add your children in the equation. I don't care if it's a job. I don't care what it is. If you have children and you mention that and they don't put that as part of the equation, they care nothing about your light, because your children is what bring you your light. Your children is what light your way outside of your man or your father or however, or your inner light within self if you're a woman. And so you think about that too, because a lot of people compromise, too much. And a lot of people sacrifice time, energy, things that they could be doing with their children for things that they want to do right now. And so that's why I say separate your needs from your desires and things that are for your purpose. And this is how you kind of get to align yourself. And a lot of us don't align ourselves, and a lot of us spend our whole life trying to feed our basic needs. Just our basic needs. No food, clothes, shelter. You got to worry about your lights. You got to worry about your water. Your basic needs. You never think about what you want. You never think about what makes you feel good. You never get to spend time on your desires. You never get to think about a nice outfit and your hair. And some people say are things that nobody has time for, but it's only the people who are struggling who don't have time for that. People who are struggling don't have time for their favorite color and what color their curtain's going to be, and really taking the time to do a ritual and lighting candles throughout their house. You get what I'm saying, you guys? People who are struggling, and there's no disrespect to your struggle. I've struggled. It's not even that. It's not even a physical struggle. It's an internal struggle. And so that's why I say balance your chakras. It's an internal struggle. So when you're internally poor, it's hard for you to materialize everything else that you need. It's hard for you to even manifest that husband, that wife, that job. It's hard for you to even manifest that. Even that meal that you need. You get what I'm saying? And so you have to have a lot of trust and faith in self, and in a higher power, and in your divine self, in your relationship with the divine. And we have to breathe properly, and that thing has to go deep. So that's why I say your root chakra, that thing is deep, from all the way down there and all the way up here. And wherever you have blockages at is wherever your breathing stops at. You get what I mean? And so wherever your breathing stops at, when you want to figure out, well, what chakra needs clearance? Okay, well, when you breathe, does it stop here? That's your heart chakra. Does it stop here? You get what I mean? Do you feel like you can breathe all the way through the top of your head? Because this is where you're creating clearance. And wherever your breathing stops at, wherever you're shallow at with your breathing, this is an area that you need to work on. And so I guess that's one of the best ways that I can explain as far as doing that, as far as working on that area. And so a lot of people got a whole lot of things clogged up at their root because they don't have the money, they don't have the food, somebody else is providing for them, they're being dependent on somebody else. And so those different parts of your bodies and your limbs are going to hurt as well. It affects your body, you guys. It affects your body. And so you get sick. You get what I mean? When you don't do things right and when you don't follow what's set out for you to do. And you can feel it in your body. So you don't ever have to get a reading. I would suggest that you do. But if you read yourself, you've never get a reading. You still can read yourself through your body. And that's where the guilt and all of that comes from. So anytime you're trying to figure out, am I in lower self? Am I in lower self? And I want to get into the higher and lower self of Capricorn before I go. Capricorn, okay, in higher self, like I say, they are the boss. They're the responsible parent. They're somebody you want to be in their corner, somebody you want in your corner, somebody who's going to have your back. And in lower self, Capricorns are mean. They're materialistic. They're a goat that will knock you off of the cliff. They will use you. They will abuse you. They will do whatever to get to the top, okay, because they want to win. And they're not far, in which they challenge the Aries, but they're not too far from what Aries do. They're just an earth sign, and Aries is a fire sign. So they just move a little bit different, okay, but they still goats. Okay, and they still like to be on top. And so you have to think about that. In lower self, they don't feel like they need anybody, and they'll do anything to do it. In higher self, everybody needs to be with them, and they counting everybody that's on their team and making sure that everybody can make it up there. So this is how you know a Capricorn is in higher or lower self. When they acting like a crackhead for success, when they'll just say or do anything, when they will compromise themselves and their morals and their integrity, and it don't have to be a Capricorn, anybody that's behaving like that, yeah, that's a goat that's about to knock your ass off the cliff, okay? But anytime that they're relatable, they're coming down for some water. They're coming down to that pond. They come down to, like I say, that lake. When they're being relatable, when they're feeding, their self through people that they support them. They're not too hard to talk to. Okay, this is when a Capricorn is aligning itself. So that's why I say higher and lower self. And sometimes, like I say, a Capricorn can take advantage of you. But when you feel like you're taken care of and somebody's protecting you and they're investing in you, because Capricorns deal with investments. Okay, they deal with stocks and bonds and all of that. They invest even in people. Okay, so when they invest in you, and it feels like in the long run you still gonna be here, they gonna still be here, because you have to think about Saturn and how long it takes to get through the zodiac. 29 years. So anytime a Capricorn is spending time with you, spending money on you or anything, you're a part of their plan. Okay, you a part of their plan. But anytime they spend time with you and it was short term and you're feeling used, abused, and drained, that was also a part of their plan. And this is why I say you met a Capricorn in lower self. It headbutted you. It took you out. All of those things, you guys. So pay attention to that. But yeah, also Capricorn is dealing with your skeletal system. So this is why you have to have strength and structure at your bones and in your body when you want to do well. So this is why your health is very important with everything you want to do, which I'm trying to be as thorough as possible. I'm trying to think, I got into the chakras. Yeah, so your skeletal system. The nourishment to your bones, okay? And this also goes back to your relationship with your heart and goes back to your relationship with Leo, because this is also what's pumping your blood, right? And where is it coming from and where is it going and all of that. We've been talking about the skeletal system. So you're talking about how much faith and confidence you have at Leo and how much is pumping into your structure. All right, your structure of Capricorn, okay? And this is why your relationship with your father, your relationship with men, how much discipline you have, and all of that is very important when you go back to Capricorn. So this is why your skeletal system has to be important. A lot of people who have bad bones, bad posture, all of that, relationship with their parents sometimes is off. Okay, and then sometimes it's lack of confidence. You're looking down, your shoulders down, all of that. And so this also goes back to betrayal and all of those things. People who have done you wrong, people who can't stand up straight. Okay, so this is why when you have a proper Capricorn and higher self in your life, you know how to stand up straight. You know when to get right. And that goes back to a parent or a father or somebody who is giving you some discerning, information or advice. And so think about that when you want to do well. For the next 3 days, if you don't know where you're going or who you're going to be around, just to pay attention to who you're going to be around. Because the universe is always talking to us through other people. How else is God going to get to you? Okay, unless we put people, places, and things to send that message. Okay, so that's why I say God or the universe of it all is energy, and we are simply energy in our vehicle or in our house of it all. And so the energy is trying to like energy. So that's why you have to have good energy and raise your vibration for like energy to want to deal with you. Because when you have low vibrations, like energy, it's gonna deal with you. Okay, so this is why you always want to be up, and you're not going to always be up, and this is why we learn and we collect from our downs. When you down, enjoy your downs too, because you know the bliss of the up is coming. And also when you're down, have a shovel, have your magnifying glass, because when you're down, you want to go ahead and dig some stuff up so you can magnify and look at and be thorough about why, and go ahead and investigate why you was down there in the first place. So that's why you take some of the dirt from that burial site with you anyway. You want to know why. And so this is why whenever you're down, go ahead and take some of that dirt and take some of those things that buried you, because this is how you know. And that's why I say always go back to where you came from. When you're lost in life, when you've lost direction. Okay, well, I came this way. Where I always say, go back to where you came from. You go back to your parents, you go back to your mother, you go back to the house you grew up in, you go back to the city or however that you grew up in, you go back to your roots, you go back to your culture. How did I grow up? You go back to the root of your tree to understand the fruit of your tree. So to completely understand the fruits of everything that you're working for, you guys, you have to go back to your roots. And that's why I say the next 3 days is very significant, and it could be so fantastic. And for everybody, it's going to be different, and that's wherever you have it at in your chart. If you're interested, look out. I've left my website in the link. I'll put my scheduling information in there if you guys are interested. Get aligned. I call myself a spiritual mechanic, y'all. I say get aligned. Come to me and get aligned. Get your vehicle worked on, okay? Whatever sounds you're making, whatever sounds I hear your vehicle making, I can just tell sometimes what somebody's saying, how they talking, or however. I'm like, oh, that's that Mercury retrograde. It's almost like a symptom, and you want to go ahead and get them back on the road. And that's why I say I can hear it. And so when you're talking about Capricorn is talking about, like I say, your alignment of your vehicle. You want to be aligned. You want to be able to stay in lane, so that you can get where you're going, and you want to get where you're going safely. Okay? Cancer is your seat, all right? Cancer is adjusting your seat. So you don't want to be too close. All up on that gas, you're going to move too fast, okay? And you spend your energy too much. You don't want to be too far back, okay? Because when you need to hit that gas, and when you need to brake or stop or however in life, you get what I'm saying, you're not going to be able to get to it. So Cancer, that's why it goes back to, is the core of it all. Cancer is the human, is the you of it all, is the body of it all. Cancer is what is in between the stars and the roots of it all. This is the core of your life, your spirituality, your mind, and all of this. And it's also the core of your vehicle. Cancer, when it comes to your vehicle, that's why I say is your seat. When it comes to your home, Cancer is your family room. Okay, it's the room, it's the core of your home, the room where everybody that you relate to sits in and talks to and relates and loves and supports on each other. So right now is the time for you to figure out who is in my family room and who should be. And what should I have to move around to make the right people in the family room of my life? Who is the right people in the seat of my car? You get what I'm saying? And who are the right people who are going to help me adjust properly spiritually, and the people that I relate to. And it goes back to the law of relativity when you're talking about Cancer. When you're talking about Capricorn, you're talking about the law of correspondence. So the next 3 days, how you correspond to things, because that goes back to your level of success. How I correspond to things gets me to my destination safely. And there are obstacles, and there are things that are going to come through your windshield, Aries, things that you have to be aware of to see through, right? Which is the Aries of it all, which is why you have to value your security, Taurus. Put your seatbelt on, and this is what's going to help you, which trines you aligning yourself on the highway of life, which is Capricorn. Capricorn isn't the highway of life. That would actually be Sagittarius, but Capricorn is a part of the highway of life, because Capricorn, I always say, is where you get your first ticket at, or Capricorn is where you get pulled over at. So that's why Capricorn goes back to that 29 years. Between 29 and 31, we all get our first lesson. We all get pulled over spiritually for the first time by the universe. And the universe is like, hey, where the hell you going, or what you doing? You out late. Where your mama them at? And so this is why around 29 and 31, We start having realizations. We start looking for mama. We start looking for the moon. A lot of us start to have our spiritual awakenings between 28, 31, which is that Saturn return. Daddy came back, want to know what you're doing. Because when you was born, he was doing what he was doing. All right? And so that's why when it returns, we're aligning you now. This is time for your alignment. You've been riding around in this vehicle for a while. All right? So that's why at 29, whoa, let's get you back together now. Okay? All is well. So, you guys enjoy this transit. I spoke way longer than I wanted to. I always say that, but I really just love what I do, and I love, you know, explaining it, because I know a lot of people want to learn, and I'm still learning. Who am I to say I'm anybody's teacher? I'm yet a student still myself. I just don't mind sharing what I learn, and I learn the most when I teach, though, and I learn the most when I actually do sessions and when I do readings. So peace and love, you guys. Reach out to me if you want a session. It is still Cancer season, so all Cancers, if you want your birthday session, reach out to me, which is half price. Get to me before the end of this month, because Leo season is going to be starting, and then that's going to be for the Leos. But reach out to me for your Cancer special. Also reach out to me for the full moon special, because I also have a full moon session that I do, and that's really short and quick, and that's only $20. Anybody who's interested in that, reach out to me. Peace and love, y'all. Have a good night.